Hello, hello, hello. Let me see if I sound okay. Hello, hello, hello. I do sound okay. Well, hello, everyone. The ones are in the back. Hello, the ones in the back. Hello, Tara, for being here. Hello, John. Yes, yes, yes. I'm leaving this plate next to me, and I may fall asleep as it's late. Thank you. Thank you, John, for being here. Thank you, Tara, for being here. And thank you for the ones. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Shelly. Hi. Hi, Tara. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's true crime and, whatever, but Lydia Sherman. Let me tell you about Lydia Sherman. Where is my notebook? Hold on, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta grab my notebook. All right. So I wanted to make a public announcement before I start my true crime is I apologize from earlier how upset I was. I should have never got upset like that. And I apologize the ones that I brought up into this. So it is what it is. Thomas made mistakes and he owns it and he apologized and that's it. Like, I'm done. I'm never going to talk about it again. I'm going to go on with my channel. So to you, Blues Girl, I apologize for even bringing you up. Okay? And that's that. I'm done with it all. So again, I'm going to say this. The rules for my chat is don't bring up children, be kind, be yourself, and we're going to move forward from this. Okay? Okay. If you don't think my apologies is sincere, then that's on you, not me. And that's that. All right. So today we are talking about Lydia Sherman. Okay, Lydia Sherman was a murderer, a serial killer, you want to per se. And she killed her husband and children with arsenic. She killed other children with arsenic. This is a thing. She was killing the people that she picked with arsenic. And she was born in 1824 and she died in 1878. So I'm going to bring up, everybody see that? Let me know if you guys can see that. Okay. She was a very, very, very person that was they called her the Derby poisoner because she poisoned. I am showing Lydia Sherman right now, Christine. All right, hold on. Can you guys see it? That's how big it's going to show me. All right. Lydia Sherman was born in Burlington, New Jersey, and was an orphan as a child. At 17, she met her first husband and then moved to New York City. Her husband lost her job, so she poisoned him with arsenic in 1864. A few weeks later, she poisoned 3 of her children with arsenic and then poisoned 2 more in 1865. At the time, she worked as a nurse and married her second husband in 1868. She poisoned her second husband the same year with arsenic. In 1870, she married her third husband and poisoned him in 1871. She was caught and convicted in 1872, but in 1877, she escaped and continued her crimes by poisoning two more children. She was brought back to prison, passing away from cancer in 1878. Yeah, because this is in 1800s, Tara. Who is Lydia Sherman? Let's dive a little. Okay. Lydia Sherman, D. Danber, also known as a Derby prisoner. Now, when we get into it, we're going to get into a lot about Lydia Sherman and what she has done. Okay. We're going to dive in a lot. Lydia Sherman, E. Danbury, also known as the Derby poisoner, was an American serial killer. She poisoned 8 children in her care and her 3 husbands and was convicted of second-degree murder in 1872. Okay? Why she caused these murders? These are the questions we're going to ask ourselves. Why did she cause the murders? What made her attack her children and others for? Let's learn a little more who Miss Lydia Sherman is. Okay? So this is a picture of Lydia Sherman. She's a very beautiful woman. She kept killing her husbands and her children and stuff like that. So Lydia was born December 24, 1824, and Christmas Eve in Burlington, New Jersey. Died in Wethersfield State Prison on May 16, 1978. She has 7 children. States she aligned in was Connecticut, Rhode Island. Her spouses was Edward Struck, Dennis Herbert, and Horderito. I think it's Horderito Sherman. Okay. Or Hanato. I think it's Horonato. I think it's the name. Sherman. The victims that she killed was 11 altogether, including 3 husbands and 8 children, and 6 of them were her own. The other names they called her the Derby poisoner. No, let's jump in some of the story how she ended up killing and why. Why did she start off with the first spouse and why her children? Let's see why. Lydia Sherman was born under the surname Danbury on 24th December 1824 in Burlington, New Jersey. Within a year of her birth, her mother died. When her father remarried, Sherman chose to live with her uncle, John Clagay, a New Brunswick, New Jersey farmer, because she did not like her stepmother. At the age of 16, Lydia met her first husband, Edward Struck, through her association with the Methodist Church. He was a widow, and when his wife died, he became the sole parent to his children. After Lydia and Struck married, they had 7 children of their own, 4 girls and 3 boys. Martha N., George Whitfield, Anne Eliz, Edward, Josephine, who died a year after her birth, Lydia, 1846, and William, 1863. And most of this, what I looked up, there was no pictures. There was not very much pictures. There was not many information on the husbands that much. I couldn't find many pictures, so I wrote a lot of it down. Unexpectedly, in 1864, Struck became ill and then suddenly died. The physician who attended him was stumped as to what killed Struck, but those who saw him before his death suspect poison. Lydia claimed that if poison was the cause, it was because he had taken the wrong medication. However, adding to the mystery was that within 2 years after Struck's death, their children all suddenly died, although their death certificates often listed thyroid fever as the cause. So after the husband died, her first, husband, her children died. And a lot of people suspect at that time it was poison because at that time in their year, a lot of people, like women, it was really very odd that a woman would kill like the family or whatever. It was always the men. But when like something was not right. And Lydia kind of was like, oh, okay. No, if it was poison, then it has to be this. Typhoid fever. Yeah, Christine, you're right. Typhoid, right? Did I say it right? Typhoid. I don't even know. Typhoid fever. Thyroid fever. Did I say it right? It kind of looked like thyroid. Typhoid. Okay, typhoid fever. Okay, thank you. A widow Lydia eventually acquired a position at a sewing machine store. A friend, hold on 1 minute, guys. Give me 1 minute. A widow Lydia eventually acquired a position at the sewing machine store at a friend that introduced her to Dennis Hurlbut, a well-to-do older man who owned some real estate but lived economically. He was known among the Connecticut locals as Old Hurlbut. Though quite a bit older with Lydia, they fell in love and married in 1868. Shortly after their marriage, Hurlbut updated his will and made Lydia as heir. His health then began to decline until one day the village physician, a Dr. Church, was summoned to his home because he was suffering acute pains in the head and stomach, accompanied by intense burning, as if he had a violent fever. Seeing the seriousness of the situation, Dr. Church requested assistance from several other physicians. However, before the consulting physicians could agree upon Hurlbut's diagnosis, he died and was buried. So the more you get into the story, you'll see where Lydia's head was at. One will die, then she'll remarry. Then one will die, then one will she'll marry. And you'll see it's all in a pattern. It's all in a pattern. Okay. Okay. Lydia next met Nelson Horado. I can never say that name. Nelson Horado Sherman. Sherman in Derby, Connecticut. He was described as a skilled mechanic and faultlessly generous. In addition, he was a widower. He was a widow and had been left with 4 children: Nelson Jr., Addie, Nathaniel, Natty, and a 15-month-old Frankie to support. After a short courtship, the couple married in September 1870. Unfortunately, their wed bliss did not last long. Nelson became depressed after his 15-month-old Frankie and 14-year-old Addie died a few months apart. That loss was supposedly intensified by the fact that Lydia and Nelson were not cohabiting together because they were not getting along. It seems that he was also upset that she had not gotten pregnant by him. To help ease his depression, Nelson began drinking. He and several friends that left Derby for the nearby college town of New Haven in May so that he could drown his sorrows in liquor. In the meantime, Lydia was left alone to care for Nelson's two older children, 17-year-old Nelson Jr. and 4-year-old Nathaniel Natty. A week after his departure, Nelson still had no return home. Wow. A week after his departure, Nelson still had not returned home. So he bounced. It sounded like he just left. And she was left with the children. So weird. Horror Radio. Okay, Horror Radio. Thank you for giving me the speech. Hey guys, let me tell you, I'm so bad at reading. I try my best. I swear to you, I tried my best with this. I swear. I promise you. Okay. How long he would have stayed in New Haven had not Lydia induced her stepson to go and fetch his father is often wondered. Nevertheless, when he got home, so he returned home because he left and he was on a drinking binge. He came home. Lydia Sherman was unhappy because her husband was drunk. In fact, he was such in bad shape he could not work for several days. To make matters worse, when he did finally go back to work, he refused to return home to eat. Like any other alcoholic, okay? When it gets really bad, some stay away and some stay at home. But they just don't care. They don't care about life. He lost 2 of his children, so he just drowned himself with sorrow and drank to death, pretty much. Lydia was upset, but in the meantime, she remained socialist towards her husband. She continued to send him meals and mix his beverages, which he continued to eat and drink. Around 1st June, it was reported that he drank a drink given him by Lydia and within 2 hours was complaining of a bad headache. Here comes what Lydia. A raging fever quickly ensued, followed by cramps, and then he died 2 days later, suffering dreadful agonies. Oh my goodness. Right? Like, that's a damn shocker, isn't it? The symptoms that Nelson suffered from were also reportedly like those suffered by his children. Okay? And now his children had the same thing. This caused the doctor attending to him to wonder what was the cause of the deaths. He therefore decided to investigate and schedule a post-mortem to be held by Nelson. Accordingly, the stomach of Nelson. So now they're investigating the stomach. Accordingly, the stomach of Nelson was taken out. Besides about a third of the liver, they were boxed and sent to New Haven for analysis. It required 3 weeks to make the analysis, resulting in a startling report saying that the liver had been found perfectly saturated with arsenic and that there was enough in it to kill 3 men. Holy crap. After such a discovery, it was only a matter of time before enough evidence could be collected to charge Lydia Sherman with Nelson's murder. As that was being undertaken, detectives were also shadowing Lydia and watching her every move. Because at that point, they can't charge Lydia at all. They just know now they have the evidence, so they're going to watch. Remember, guys, this is back in the 1800s. This is how they did their crime, or their like detective work and all that. However, not realizing anything with amiss, she went on with her life as if she had no cares in the world. Like, she's like, da 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 da, another one is gone. Like, she didn't care. She definitely didn't care at all. So right there is a picture next to like the doctor, and I think that's the picture of, let's see, the death of Addie, Lydia Sherman's stepdaughter. So that's the death of Addie. Okay, she's laying in bed, and that's the husband, the third husband that just died, daughter, and then there's the I think that's actually the husband and Lydia. In the meantime, Nelson's friend talked with authorities, resulting in the exhumation of his two children while Lydia was being surreptitious, being suspicious, surveying by detectives. She then left from New Brunswick just as undeniable evidence indicate that the children too had been poisoned by arsenic. Now they're starting to see. Now they're saying, oh, okay, Lydia, you're the one who's behind this. Detectives were sent to arrest her, but she had left with her sister, a Miss Dedified on a short trip by train to Philadelphia. So when she returned on the 10:50 a.m. train, orders were already in place for police to take her into custody. So now they're like, okay, Lydia, you did this. Now we have to go get you. So now this is where it gets good. This is where we get into the arrests and know exactly what's going on. All right, here we go. After the arrest, Chief Oliver and Detective Mitchell conveyed the woman to the office of the District Attorney Herbert, where she was detained until 4 o'clock, at which time she was taken to New Haven. Accompanied by Sheriff Blacksman and Detective Mitchell, the statements of the officers leave no doubt that this woman is guilty of one of the most startling and sensitive series of crimes that has ever been committed in the part of the country. Lydia Sherman, arrested, was front page news. Headlines describe her as the wickedest woman, America's Queen's poisoner, the poison friend, woman monster, monitoring bogey, gold-blooding murderess, or simply the Derby poisoner. Moreover, the public was fascinated by the trial, with the preliminary examination being held before Judge Platt in Birmingham that began on 6 July of 1871. Details of the case were provided by the Coshocton Democrat of Ohio. Okay, and this is what the Democrat said. She is a woman now in her 45th year, is a woman of very original appearance, but of social reserve and wonderful shrewdness. To the interviewers and visitors, she has nothing to say. No unguarded word would never escape her lips. But the evidence that the Graves has offered is too strong against her. Her trial will doubtless be one of the most remarkable ever witnessed in this country, that she will finally be made to give her life to atonement for the many lives she has taken. There cannot be much reason to doubt. So that was pretty much, if you wanted to put that in case, that was like the other side talking. If we were in court, I'm the defense pretty much is talking based on me if I was Lydia. So yeah. Yep. And this is the newspaper article.
Is that court?
Hold on, guys, 1 minute. So this is the newspaper article of Lydia Sherman, where she was convicted. This was all over the news, like in their own news of paperwork. I think that says the poison fiend. Life and conviction of Lydia Sherman. Okay. Much was written about Lydia Sherman being the murderess, and the public found her story fascinating. It seemed almost unimaginable to most Victorians that a woman who was supposed to be a maternal caregiver could have murderous urges and commit such horrific crimes. Back then, it was weird a woman killing somebody. Like it was a big, big thing. That if they seen, women, because women is supposed to be caring. Women take care were caregivers back then. If a woman killed somebody, it's like hang her on the cross. You know what I mean? It was like outrageous. There was reasons for it, right? Furthermore, articles about women murdering were of great interest to readers, and that was why 19th century newspapers often provide detailed information explaining how or why women carry out such murderous plots. In studying the annals of murders committed by women, there are two singulars to be noticed. The first of these is the fact that when a woman sets out upon a wholesale career of murder, she almost invariably chooses poison for the agency of distribution and has a preference for arsenic. Men commit murders with the pistol, the knife, or the bludgeon, rarely with poison. Women scarcely ever use either one of these three agencies, except in cases where they are actually by sudden or ungovernable impulses and seize the first weapon which comes to hand. So it was hardly ever a thing for women to have a gun. Now, Bonnie and Clyde, all that was more in the future after all this. So nowadays, if a woman commits a crime, it's a thing, right? It's like, oh, okay. But back then, if a woman had a gun, then it's like, holy shit. Like, what's going on and why? Why this woman got a gun, or a knife, or anything that comes in her hand? Poison back then was so easily to get. Nowadays, people just shoot people, kill people for over pennies, over nothing. Women kills, and this is my opinion, and this has nothing to do with anybody, but my opinion when it comes to women kill with passion. Okay, there's a whole difference between a man serial killer and a woman serial killer. We kill a woman in the brain like that, kills because of passion. And that's just mine. Men who kill got a weird, they're like, anything with a serial killer's brain has a weird bad of function, okay? Men does it with pleasure. Like, when men kill, men does it with pleasure. They do it with fantasies. They You know what I mean? Things like that. And women, in a way, we do it with passion. It has to do with trauma, something that we watch growing up. But some of us take our trauma and get help for it too before we became a sociopath. So that's just my idea of things that I think, honestly, what it is. Okay. So this is pretty much like one of the, let's see, the 65th year of American independence. I think this is where this is the paper that was in the courtroom where Lydia had to sign in 1841. You know what I mean? It's just a little piece of evidence of what the court was showing. But I'm going to read a little bit on this. As the trial played, the journalists note Lydia's behavior in court. All right, hold on. Let me read. All right. They reported that she appeals cynical and indifferent, despite evidence repeatedly showing her callousness and indicating that she was indeed a murderess. Analysts of her case were also regularly reviewing by newspapers, with the Charleston Daily Courier noting, Lydia Sherman is charged with having killed no less than 3 husbands, besides 8 children of various sorts, some of the latter being her stepchildren. As she resides in Connecticut, a state famous for its facilities for divorce at that time, I guess. At that time, their courts were based on divorce. It is strange she should have preferred to rid herself and her husband's by the brutal and dangerous process of murder, instead of the safe and easy succor of the courts. It is inconceivable that her dislike for her stepchildren might have instigated her to murder them, but that a mother could bring herself to slaughter her own offspring is hardly credible in a civilized community. So back then it was weird. Like, in a way, they're like, oh yeah, it's her stepchildren. We get it. In a way, all children shouldn't get killed, but her own offspring, her own children, that was like a holy, oh my God. Like, are you serious? Like, why would you kill children in the first place, but your own children? And I think it had to do with the men she was with. The men, like, oh, I kill you. It's weird how her mind worked out with this, with her poisoning. There is, too, a want of motive in the relentless series of crimes. The supposition, I can't even read. Okay, here we go. The position that her motive was a certainly, I can't read that. Hold on. The position that her motive was one may be entertained in the case of the murder of one of her husbands, but will not apply to any of other murders of which she accused. Crimes so purposely and so revolting are foreign even to the worst of men. So they're saying her murders, oh my God. Sorry guys, give me 1 minute. So she's saying her murders, her murdering these men and children was like it was out there. It was like really big. It was outstanding. Okay, hold on. Did we read this? Oh. Precision. One may be entertained the case of the murder of one of her husbands, but will not apply to any of the other murders of which she is accused. Crimes so purposely and so revolting are foreign even to the worst of men. How then is it conceivable that they should have been perpetrated by a woman of intelligence and of respectable position in society, one who had been reputed a faithful wife and a good mother? And here is the most remarkable circumstance in the whole horrible tale. How was it possible that 11 persons belonging to the woman's household should have successfully died with all the symptoms of arsenical poisoning, and yet suspicion not have attached itself to anyone? The victims were in the most cases attended by physicians who could hardly have mistaken the real cause of death, for it seemingly impossible to mistake the action of a deadly doses of arsenic for the symptoms of any known disease. Cool, right? Like, they just didn't understand what made her mind be like, okay, I'm going to kill my children, then I'm going to kill my stepchildren because of my husbands. All over, in my opinion, all over, soon as the husbands wrote out the will and whatever case in their insurance money, you want to call it, she kills them. She kills them. Just my opinion. They're going to kill the children because they're in the insurance money. What any married couple kills somebody over, besides if it ain't cheating or anything? Because of insurance money. Okay. Here we go. Although there might not have been any good explanation as to why physicians failed to realize that, Lydia Sherman was busy in poisoning her family. The jury hearing her case were convicted of her guilt. Convinced of her guilt. They sentenced it. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to reread that. Although there might not have been any good explanation as to why physicians failed to realize that, Lydia Sherman was busy in poisoning her family. The jury hearing her case were convincing of her guilt. They sentenced her to life at Wethersfield Prison in Connecticut on 25th April 1872 for murdering Nelson. However, they found her guilty of second-degree murder because they were loath to convict a woman of first-degree murder, despite overwhelming evidence against her and despite no fact of circumstance mitigating her crimes. After her sentencing, she made a long confession of the terrible crimes which had strained her remarkable career. In her confession, she admitted to killing her children, her stepchildren, and her husbands, everyone except Hurlbut, whom she assisted, became sick after drinking cider in which he himself has added saleratus. I don't know what that is, but we'll look it up. She also admitted to using a similar method of introducing the arsenic into food or drink consumed by those she murdered. Even with her admission, she attempted to cast herself in a more favorable light. For instance, she maintained that she committed some of the murders for the benefit of the person to spare him or her precarious future, I guess. So she just killed. She just killed just to kill. She put them in their food and drink because she was doing what a wife and a mother does, and she just puts poison in there. Well, I guess so, right? And this is a picture of a drawing of Lydia Sherman depicting her as she appeared during the escape. So I guess this is her picture. I guess this is what someone drawed when she was on the escape. After Lydia's prison, the next time she had heard of what was a couple of years later. It happened after Mary Ann Cotton's name appeared in the headlines. Like Sherman, Cotton was alleged to have murdered many people, including 3 of her husbands. In fact, the Chicago Tribune saw many similarities between the 2 women and noted the parallels of their crimes. So here we go. We have another one. The recent cases of Lydia Sherman and her poisonings is fairly matched by the developments made in the West Auckland poisoning cases, now on trial in England, in which one Mary Ann Cotton stands charged with the murder of her stepson, a healthy child of 7 years. In the progress of the trial, many other murders have been instantly developed, included husband and children, for like Lydia Sherman, Cotton has been many times married, and as if they were some indefinable mysterious connection between murdering and marriage in the minds of these Borges, meaning of these women, no sooner had she assumed the responsibilities of wedlock that she proceeded to free herself from them by means of poison. Like Lydia Sherman, also, she made no concealment of her crimes, but on the hand confessed them with perfect freedom and even gloried in the confession, as if she had performed some praiseworthy deed. They were proud. Lydia Sherman and this Mary chick was very proud in what she did. The next mention of Lydia appeared in 1877. That was because of the 27th of May of that year, she made a good her escape from Welchville. So now she escaped from prison. She slipped unnoticed. Sorry, guys. She slipped unnoticed out of her cell and hopped a train to Springfield, Massachusetts. I can't say that fucking state. I never have. Massachusetts. It seemed that her cell door was regularly left unlocked due to her carelessness health. Lydia claimed her escape was unplanned from the Cincinnati Enquirer reported on the juicy details. She had undressed and gone to bed. The thought of escape came to her suddenly like an inspiration, and she aroused and put on her clothing. Sherman slipped out and secured herself in a corner cell, which was used for storage, and the door of which stood ajar. The matron passed along in the lower tier of cells, locking them. It was her duty to say good night to the occupants and hear them respond. As she omitted to do so, in fact, she had grown excessively slack in many details. She then went to the upper tier of cells. While the matron was in the upper gallery, one of the prisoners discovered a rat, and the matron went down in the kitchens and get a lamp which it made it through the search for the rat. Sherman says that she followed the matron secretly herself in a corner. Secretly herself in a corner where the matron returned. Sherman went through the kitchen to the main hall, and out the front door, which was open. Hold on. Sherman walked deliberately down the avenue. She wore a light-colored muslin dress and a veil upon her head in lieu of bonnet, and this is what the picture looks like. She was observed by one of the prison attendants who thought she was the warden's wife. She walked along the track. She got to the depot just as the 1:27 morning train north arrived. She had barely time to get on board. She had with her, she says, about $30. This included a $20 bill, which had been sent to the matron for her by one of the minor of New London, a convicted who had been released 6 weeks before and to whom Miss Sherman had done kindness. Hi, Teresa. Wow. So right now we are in the middle of Lydia Sherman escaping. She escaped prison. I guess in there she had, nowadays you can't escape prison, but if you try, you're probably going to get, caught. But honestly, I do believe that while she was in there, she got good with the matrons and, done good kindness for other prisoners. So that's why I'm a Snoop Doggy Dog. Oh, then you have Snoopy Doggy Dog. He's got Snoop Doggy Dog lighters, everyone. But, yeah. That's where we're at. And I believe that's why... Oh, I like that one here. That's why she left. All right. We're almost done, guys. So right now, she's been convicted to life. She has 2 accounts, 2 second-degree murders. She escaped prison. Now we're going to see how this goes. When she gets caught, how she gets caught. I hope you guys are still with me. If you're still here, press 1 in the chat. And honestly, guys, if you have any questions or comments, please post them in the chat. Okay. Besides this money, Lydia Sherman also took a few personal belongings that the lax matron had allowed her to keep in her cell. Lydia fled first to Rochester and then to Providence, Rhode Island, where she checked into the Central Hotel as Miss Brown from Philadelphia. She then befriended Miss Sears, the hotel landlady. Unfortunately, Lydia forgot she had signed in using the Alice Brown, so her fake name, and mistakenly told Sears that her name was Miss Moore. Sears has been reading about this escape of Lydia and therefore became suspicious and contacted the police. At that point, they didn't have pictures. You know what I mean? They didn't have pictures of Lydia's face, I don't think. But Lydia was dressed differently and she went under an Alice name. She mistakenly said she was Miss Moore when she was saying she was Miss Brown. Then they questioned Lydia and looked through her possessions, finding a napkin ring with the name Lydia. The discovery prompted her to object that the napkin ring did not say Sherman. Before officers even brought up the name of Sherman, thus her ruse was discovered and she was returned to Wethersfield prison. So she got caught by the rain. About a year later, just before Mark Twain visits Zermatt, Switzerland, and climbed the Riffelberg Mountain, Lydia Sherman died on 16th May of 1878. She had been ill for some time, but especially so the last few weeks of her life. It was reported that she suffered from an acute liver disease, resulting in her having a yellow appearance and giving her the color of an Indian. of her death, several newspapers noted that there was no other person of such in family, nor was there anyone such as a foul record of crimes. Thus, they concluded her death was a good thing for society. So she got caught, went to jail, went back to prison, and she died on let's see it again. She died on May 16th, 1878 from cancer. So, hi, Dorothy. So that is the story of Lydia Sherman. She went to prison for killing 8 children, 11 together. 11 together. She killed 11 people altogether, but she killed 8 children and 3 husbands. And 5 of them were hers. And then her other children, the oldest one was the 18-year-old, I think it was, that didn't die because she moved along. And then it was the newborn that she had but then died. So those are the 2 that didn't get passed away. Like, she didn't try to kill because the newborn died and then the 18-year-old moved away. But her other children got killed. She killed her own children, and then she killed her stepchildren, and then killed her 3 husbands, and then that was it. So I think it was a good story. I think, did she poison all of them? Yeah. She poisoned 11 people altogether. 8 children, 3 husbands. All over. And then I was reading more into it. She killed them all over insurance money. You know, they would sign something and then. But Helber, she say that she didn't kill him. And I think that was her stepchildren's father. So she killed her stepchildren, and she didn't say she killed her husband because he's the one who tried to kill. But she's the one who sprinkled arsenic in the food and the drinks. Yep. Sure did. So, guys, I wanted to show you. I've heard of this case. Does that make her a serial killer or a family? It makes her a serial killer because she killed 3 different people. She murdered 3 different people and murdered her stepchildren and her kids. So she could be both. But in my opinion, I think she's a serial killer. So I want to show you guys 2 of my paintings I did. And then I just want to show you guys. Because I'm going to do more paintings. And then I'm going to probably just auction them off. Yeah. No, baby, I'm not painting right now. I think she would have kept killing if she didn't get caught from the last husband she killed. Because the last husband, they actually took the stomach out and took it to New Haven. And that's where they found out there was arsenic in the liver. So, I don't know. I think it's both. So here's one I did last night.
Baby beat.
Yeah, baby.
Pocket.
I try to do the mountain. I got to work on my mountain skills. So there's that. And my flowers, I got to do better on my flowers. So this was just a practice. So that's what it looks if you were hanging it on the wall. I don't know. I tried. And then here is, I got to work on this a little bit more. I got to put red in the fire. And there's that one. Sorry, let me put my cigarette down. I'm killing a bug, a little mosquito. I don't know if you guys can see it in the light. So I don't know. These are the things I practice on. You can't see. Okay. Let me turn it around. Can you see it now? Shut up, Dorothy. Not even cool. There's that. Okay. And then there's that.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, baby.
I want to see that.
There's bugs out there. You can't go out there. All right, guys, I gotta get off camera. So those are the two that I did the past couple days. Like Thomas. I'm very multitasking there, Dorothy. What do you mean? Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Shelly. I mean, they're okay. I could be better. I could do really like better on the paintings, and that's, I'm telling you, it's just, I wanted to show you guys. That's what, you know, when I got that paint kit from Amazon, I love it because I don't know who gave it to me, but I love it. And I'm very appreciated and grateful for it. And that's what I do. I paint. Me and Thomas sat here and paint yesterday. Hey, Dorothy said hi in your chat, but don't think you saw me. Oh. God, these bugs, these mosquitoes are like blood suckers. They're so big. They're like little bats running around. Yeah, when she's sharing her videos and screens, she don't pay attention to her chat. That's why I said no, everyone. So what do you guys think about Lydia Sherman while we're all in here now? Like, what do you think that caused her to do that? You think it's because of the insurance money? Do you think it because she's a serial killer, or you think it's more to it? What is your thoughts and concerns on it? Money? That's what I think too. Because when I read a little bit more on it, it was one of, I think it was her second husband. He signed a will over, and as soon as that happened, boom, he was dead. Got to read about it. Yeah. There's a lot to read about Lydia Sherman. A lot about it. But I think two of her husbands did it. Sign a will over and put her name on it. And then the one who had the stepchildren, he was alive. When his daughter died and another child died of his, and they're laying on the bed. Yeah. She goes, "Who, me?" Because it made no sense. And then Gerardo, or Hondano, whatever his name is, his family was suspicious. Yeah, he was a drunk. But they knew that from him drinking wouldn't cause him to die. I mean, he drank a lot. And then when his kids died, he drank himself to death. But there was arsenic in the liver, and his family knew about it. That's why they took his liver to New Haven and got it looked at. Yeah. Skylar, LOL, who, me? Yeah, she does that. Who, me? It's okay, Willow. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys publicly that I apologize from earlier today. Just so you know, there might be some shit coming out and stuff like that. So if you guys got any questions or anything, please come to me. Just come to me, okay? I'm over it. I'm gonna do what my friends told me to do. Don't give them my energy. I gotta stay positive. I gotta keep moving and keep doing what I love to do. Oh my God, no! Go get it. Bend your head back. Is your blood pressure up, Dorothy? I hope you're okay. Yes, email me, guys, please. I hope you're okay. That happened to me a while ago. My nose started bleeding, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I'm thinking it's probably because everything was so high. I was really, really upset that day when my nose started bleeding. So let me see if there's any husbands. Like, I looked it up. Lydia Sherman's husbands that she killed. Here, let's share the screen while we're all here. But I made a public apology before this video, so there's that. I'll own up to my own bullshit. So here's the arsenic. I guess that's the poison. And what it looks like. That's what arsenic looks like. Oh, does it, Teresa? Yeah, I didn't know. And that's where Addie was laying in the bed. And I think that's her husband, Addie's dad, father. Yep, this is the picture where she got arrested. Full confession of H.A. Holmes. Oh, that's H.A. Holmes. Somebody told me to look in that case too. There's a lot of it based on it. Lydia Sherman, Confession of the Arch Murderers of Connecticut. Bloody deeds perpetrate with a cold heart. Husband number 1. Suspicion and fear in the conscience of the feminine fiend. Husband number 2. She sees Hubert's property and hurts him into the grave. Husband number 3. Sherman turns the tables, marries, and robs her. Revenge still biting her hellish soul. Lil Frankie and Ads killed, Horrible treated as last witch doctored brandy and yields up the ghosts. Okay. Let's see if there's any more about Lydia Sherman. Oh. Here's the prison, guys. Lydia Sherman escapes from prison, escapes Tuesday, May 29th, 1877, and was apprehended the following Tuesday, June 5th. Let's see this. All right, well, let me stop sharing this. Let's go here. Serial killer is a person who murders 3 or more people, usually due to abnormal psychological gratification, with the murders taking place over more than a month and include a schizophrenic break, a cooling off period between them. Lydia Sherman was the most infamous serial killer in Victorian America. She married her first employer, who killed him with arsenic, inspired perhaps by her state's Burgine insurance insured. Like I said, it's from insurance money. Lydia insured and poisoned 5 of their 7 children. In 1868, she became the housekeeper of a wealthy man whom she soon married, and after the honeymoon, husband number 2 died. In 1870, was Horderio Sherman hired Lydia as a baby nurse. She poisoned his 2 children and then laced his nightcap with arsenic. The deaths of 3 husbands and 7 children finally made a local Connecticut doctor suspicious. The bodies were deteriorated. Holy crap. M.O. for crime, Black Widow, poisoner of husbands and children for life insurance. Locations of crime: New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, USA. Date of murders: 1864 through 1871. Method of murder: poisoning, arsenic, rat poisoning. Victimology. Victim's profile. Edward Struck, first husband. Martha Struck, 6, her daughter. Edward Struck Jr., almost 4, her son. William Struck, 9 months old, her son. Dennis Hurlburt, second husband. Hernando, that's how you say it. Hernando N. Sherman, third husband. Ada Sherman, Addie, her stepdaughter. Frankie Sherman, her stepson. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Facts. Lydia was first married at age 17. Lydia died from cancer. Lydia escaped prison for a week and was retained back into the prison, and have a book after her called Lydia Sherman, American Borgia by Mr. Kevin J. Murphy. And that's Lydia Sherman. And that's the prison she was in. There you go, guys. If you want to know anything more about Lydia Sherman, go Wikipedia. That's where most of all her stuff is at. Jeez. All right. Dorothy said she's okay, guys. She's going to lay down. Thank you. So if anybody was worried, Dorothy is okay and she's going to lay down. I'm going to get off here, guys. I'll let you guys soon know what the next case will be. Right now, I do not know, but I'm still doing the Corey Johnson case. I think this will be the last part that I know of, part 4. If any more videos come out through Blue Dot interrogations and crimes, whatever, on YouTube, we're going to go into part 4, and this is going to be where Corey Johnson is in the room with the detective, and he's speaking based on his part. So if you missed the Corey Johnson cases, there's part 1, 2, and 3 up already through my videos. The 3 girls that was held by the guy Castro. Oh yeah. Listen, that's a case that I really have to be very spiritual in. I'll talk about that case. Me and Thomas said this for what, almost a year now, babe, that we're gonna do the Errol Castro case. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But right now I'm gonna get over doing these cases. Because in Errol Castro, I have to, like I said this the last time, I have to build a lot of evidence when it comes to that. I gotta have timing. The cases I do now, they're quick. So I really have to download a few things, and it's a lot. So plus, I honestly want to get a team together with true crime. But of right now, with everything going on, I don't think it's time to put a team together until things calm down. So I'm just going to do my little quick cases and things that I've been doing. But I am going to speak when I do my first big true crime story. It's going to be Errol Castro, because I'm very personal with that story. I know a lot with the 3 girls. And Errol Castro personally was my school driver, my school bus driver when I was in elementary school. So, and I'm from that area. So that's just, it's a lot of memories, a lot of that area. When I was in my active addiction, I did a lot of in that area. So it's going to bring me back when that day happened, because that day when the girls were found, I was on my way turning myself in to jail. I was high, I'm not even gonna lie, and they were all on Seymour just gathering. It was like tons of people from the Cleveland area, and I was like, what is going on there? So we went into a store, a little convenience store, and they said, I think they found Gina and Amanda. I'm like, what? Like, it was going on for 10 years. Gina and Amanda's family never stopped looking for them. And it was so well known in the neighborhood. And I said, okay, well, this is a good day to go turn myself in. So I went down to county, and guess what? I didn't have a warrant for my arrest. They looked at me like I was crazy. So I got back in the car and I went on Seymour, and then I find out Amanda, Gina, and they said Michelle was found. At that time, I didn't know who Michelle was until they said her name, and that's where my mouth dropped, because I knew all 3 girls. So this is going to be a very personal story to me, because my mom used to be scared for me to walk the streets because these girls were taken. My brother Jerry was legit Amanda's godfather. So, and the mother died. Amanda's mom died of what's it called? She died from a broken heart. Yeah. Because she didn't know where her daughter was. So my cousin Rick was good friends with Amanda. I think my cousin Rick dated the sister for a while back then. So it's a lot. It's a lot for that story. So stay tuned. That will be one of my biggest true crime cases that I'm going to start. So again, I hope everyone has a good night. Stay true to yourself. Be kind to yourself and others. Don't let anybody amount in anything. And I will be back on tomorrow doing 80s trivia. So make sure you look out for that. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Adios, amigos. Bye.